The wind howled like a living thing, ripping through the skeletal remains of bare winter trees and whipping the snow into furious spirals. For most people, the only sane choice was to stay inside, turn up the heat, and wait it out. But for Malik Turner, staying home wasn't always an option. The 38-year-old mechanic had just locked up Turner's auto in repair for the night when the radio in his beat-up Ford F-250 crackled to life with another weather alert. He should have been on his way home, thinking about the stew his mama had promised to have on the stove. But the pit in his gut told him he might not be going home anytime soon. Malik was used to tough conditions. Growing up in Detroit had taught him how to shovel snow before he could ride a bike, and working in Pennsylvania these last 10 years had made him the go-to guy when someone's truck wouldn't T-start in sub-zero weather. But nothing about this night felt normal. The storm had rolled in earlier than predicted, and the roads were already a slippery mess. He kept one hand on the wheel and the other hovering over the CB mic, listening for chatter from the local truckers. That's when he caught it. A faint, desperate voice breaking through the static. Someone. Kids! Stuck. Car won't start. Can't see the road! Malik straightened up, turning down the heater to hear better. This is Turner's auto. You copy? He said into the mic. No answer. Just the hollow crackle of wind. He frowned, grabbed his phone, and dialed the state police. The dispatcher confirmed they had a few distress calls but couldn't get to everyone yet. Too many accidents. Too many stranded cars. Malik could have left it at that, but he didn't. That wasn't him. If someone was out there in this weather with kids, they weren't going to last long. The cold wasn't just uncomfortable tonight. It was dangerous. He pulled his knit cap lower over his ears, threw the truck into gear, and eased onto the road. The world outside was a swirling wall of white. The snow hit his windshield in thick, heavy flakes, melting and refreezing almost instantly. Every mile felt like 10. The heat had blasted, but Malik's hands still felt stiff around the wheel. Then, through the curtain of snow, he spotted something. A faint red glow in the ditch about 50 yards ahead. Slowing to a crawl, he angled the truck toward it. As the snow cleared just enough for him to see, his stomach clenched. A minivan sat at an awkward tilt, half buried in snow, its hazard lights blinking weakly. Malik's headlights cut across the windshield, and he caught a glimpse of movement. A pale face pressed to the glass, eyes wide and frightened. He killed the engine, yanked on his gloves, and plunged into the storm. The wind hit him like a fist, nearly knocking the breath from his lungs. Snow crunched under his boots as he waded to the driver's side. Inside, a woman in her 30s gripped the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping her alive. In the back seat, 2 small kids, a boy and a girl, huddled together under a thin blanket. "Hey!" Malik shouted over the wind, tapping on the glass. "You okay in there?" The woman turned her head slowly, as if it took effort. Her lips were pale, and her voice trembled when she cracked the window just enough to speak. The car. It died. "I can't. The heat is out." "All right, I got you," Malik said firmly. "We need to get you out of here. Now." Her eyes darted past him to the storm, and he saw the fear there. Not just of the cold, but of him. Malik knew that look. It wasn't new. In a place where folks still locked their doors when a black man walked by, trust didn't come easy. But right now, she didn't have a choice. "I'm a mechanic," he added quickly. "Name's Malik. My truck's right up there. We'll get you warm." She hesitated for one heartbeat too long. The little boy whimpered, and that seemed to snap her out of it. She nodded. "Grab what you can carry," Malik instructed. He opened the door, helped the kids out first, then the woman. The wind whipped their hair and clothes, and the snow stung their faces as they struggled toward his truck. The boy clung to Malik's leg, his tiny boots slipping in the drifts. Malik scooped him up without a word, shielding his face from the wind until they reached the F-250. He got them inside, cranked the heat, and shut the door. The woman rubbed her hands together, trying to bring color back into her fingers. "Thank you," she murmured. "I didn't think anyone would." Her voice broke. "My name's Aaron." "Aaron?" Malik repeated with a nod. And the little ones, Lily and Sam. All right, Aaron, we're gonna be fine. Let's get you out of here. But the storm had other plans. As Malik tried to pull back onto the road, the truck's tires spun uselessly on the ice. He cursed under his breath, eased off the gas, and tried again. Nothing. The wind howled harder, rocking the truck. He could feel the temperature dropping, even with the heater blasting. We're not going anywhere right now, Malik admitted. We're gonna have to wait this one out. Aaron's eyes widened. Out here.
But it's warmer in here than it was in your van, Malik said firmly.
I've got extra blankets, water, some food. We'll be all right until it lets up. He handed the kids each a granola bar from his emergency stash, then dug out the thick army surplus blanket he kept behind the seat. They all huddled together, Malik in the driver's seat, Aaron and the kids in the middle. The warmth began to creep back into their fingers and toes, but the fear lingered in the air. Hours passed. The blizzard raged on, a white monster outside the glass. Aaron dozed off briefly, her head leaning against Malik's shoulder before she jerked awake, murmuring apologies. He just shook his head. Don't worry about it. When the storm finally began to ease near dawn, Malik stepped outside to check the road. What he saw made his blood run cold. There were no tire tracks anymore. Just an endless sheet of snow. And about 30 feet ahead, a huge, jagged crack split the ground where the road used to be. If they had driven just a little farther last night, they would have gone over the edge into the ravine. Aaron came up behind him, gasping when she saw it. Her hand flew to her mouth, and she turned to look at Malik with something new in her eyes. Not fear this time, but shock and gratitude. You saved our lives, she whispered. Malik shook his head slowly. No, ma'am. Just did what anyone should do. But Aaron knew better. And in the weeks that followed, what happened because of that night would change Malik's life in ways he could never have imagined.